Alright, let's talk about wands in YapYap, because trust me, these are way more than just fancy sticks that shoot spells. Every wand comes with its own passive effects that completely change how your spells behave, how you approach fights, and even how creative you can get with your builds. Picking a wand isn't just a cosmetic choice here, it directly shapes your playstyle and can open the door to some seriously juicy loot if you know what you're doing. So in this video, I'm breaking down a full YapYap Wand Tier List, ranking all the currently available wands based on how useful they actually are. We'll look at how strong they feel in the early game, how well they scale into the late game, and which ones really shine thanks to their spell synergy and passives. If you're not sure which wand is worth your time, or you want to avoid wasting runs on weak picks, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking wands in YapYap. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The wands in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Wand of Minor Arcanes and Grotesque Wand. Some wands walk into your run like a confident hero, and others quietly whisper, "I'm trying my best, okay?" Welcome to that second category. Let's start with the Wand of Minor Arcanes, a wand that sounds way more impressive than it actually behaves once things get dangerous. On paper, it feels useful. Teleportana lets you hop to higher floors faster, and Luxana gives you temporary light so you are not stumbling around in the dark like you dropped your glasses. Early on, that mobility and visibility can feel kind of nice, almost like the wand is helping you cheat the system just a little. But then reality hits. Grabana, which should have been the fun utility spell of the Wand of Minor Arcanes, barely does anything noticeable in real combat. When enemies start hitting harder and rooms get chaotic, this wand just does not pull its weight. The overall impact is weak, especially in dangerous situations where you actually need control or damage. It ends up feeling like a convenience tool pretending to be a combat wand, and YapYap does not really forgive that kind of identity crisis. Now, let's talk about the Grotesque Wand, which at first looks like it woke up and chose violence. Its transformation spells can briefly disrupt enemies, and in tight spaces it can create absolute chaos. For a short while, it feels hilarious and effective, turning fights into messy little nightmares for anything standing in your way. In the early game, that disruption can genuinely save you and even make you feel clever. Unfortunately, the Grotesque Wand burns bright and then fizzles out fast. Its damage and control are wildly inconsistent, and once you move past the early stages, enemies simply stop caring about its tricks. What used to feel like clever crowd control turns into awkward spell flailing, and you are left wondering why you are still holding it. In the end, both of these wands earn their place in the C tier not because they are unusable, but because YapYap quickly reminds you that kind of useful is not enough when things get serious. The wands in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Wand of Fire and Wand of Winds. Some wands sit in that awkward middle ground where you cannot call them amazing, but you definitely feel their absence when they are gone. That is exactly where the B tier ones live, and honestly, they are kind of the unsung workhorses of YapYap. They will not hard carry your run, but in the right hands, they can absolutely keep things under control when everything starts going sideways. The Wand of Fire is pure chaos with a purpose. Its damage over time effects are strong, and the fire it spreads can block off areas, forcing enemies to rethink their life choices. Ignis Legs is especially clutch when you need to escape fast, letting you blitz through danger zones like you suddenly remembered you left the oven on. That said, this one does not discriminate. Fire mines can block important paths, and friendly fire is very real, meaning you can roast yourself just as easily as your enemies if you are not paying attention. Then we have the Wand of Winds, which might be the most polite wand in the game because it asks for absolutely nothing. It is free, immediately available, and that alone gives it value. The real star here is the vertical mobility, as chaining up dog launchers lets you move upward like gravity just signed a temporary ceasefire. It feels smooth, satisfying, and opens up routes that other wands simply cannot reach. However, the Wand of Winds struggles to stay relevant once the game ramps up. Tempest offers only basic crowd control, and while it can buy you a moment to breathe, it does not solve bigger problems. The lack of damage scaling becomes painfully obvious in the late game, where enemies shrug off your gusts like a mild breeze. In the end, both of these B tier ones are solid tools, but YapYap makes it clear that versatility alone cannot replace raw power forever. The wands in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Wand of Illusions and Blessed Wand. There is a point in every YapYap run where raw damage stops being the main character, and smart survival quietly takes over the screen. That is where A-tier wands shine, not by exploding rooms instantly, but by keeping you alive long enough to actually win. These are the ones that make you feel clever rather than reckless, and once you get used to them, it is very hard to go back. The Wand of Illusions is an absolute brainplay wand. Its clones pull enemy attention away from you and your allies, which instantly takes pressure off in hectic fights. Mimicry is the real magic trick here, letting you avoid most threats entirely by slipping out of danger like you were never there. For solo players especially, this wand feels incredible because it gives you control over the fight without needing brute force. Of course, it is not perfect. The Wand of Illusions is held back by its cooldowns, meaning you cannot spam your way through every encounter. Timing actually matters, and bad usage can leave you exposed at the worst possible moment. Still, when played patiently, this wand turns chaos into something manageable, and that alone earns it a comfortable spot in A tier. Then there is the Blessed Wand, which basically shows up and says, "Relax, I've got this." Healing, shielding, and even reviving allies makes it insanely valuable for group survival and longer runs. Mercy Dash allows you to reposition quickly to allies in danger, turning you into the team's emergency response unit. The trade-off is obvious though, the offensive presence is almost non-existent. You are not here to deal damage, you are here to make sure nobody dies, and in YapYap, that role is way more powerful than it sounds. The wands in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Astral Wand and Wand of Telekinesis. Sometimes a wand does not just help your run, it completely rewrites how you play YapYap. These are the S tier wands, the kind that make danger feel optional and mistakes feel fixable. Once you experience this level of control, every other wand starts to feel like it is missing a few pages from the spellbook. The Astral Wand is pure information and movement dominance. Astral Eyes lets you see through walls, completely removing the risk of getting ambushed and turning every room into a solved puzzle. Blink gives you instant escapes and smooth repositioning, which already would have been enough to make this wand great. Then it goes even further with swap and offer or trade, allowing you to create save moments and clutch rescues that feel borderline unfair in the best way possible. What really pushes the Astral Wand into S tier is how flexible it is. It shines in solo survival, where awareness and escape tools are everything, but it is just as powerful in coordinated group play. Being able to scout, reposition, and rescue teammates on demand turns you into the silent backbone of the run. You are not just reacting to danger anymore, you are predicting it. The Wand of Telekinesis is the other side of S tier power, focusing on absolute battlefield control. Manipulating objects gives you exceptional crowd control, while Telelock can temporarily shut down doors and escape routes, deciding where and how fights happen. Teleblast adds reliable knockback and damage, making it useful both offensively and defensively. The best part is that its defensive spells scale beautifully into the late game, meaning this wand never falls off. It only gets scarier the longer the run lasts. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.